Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video where we are going to be going over 5 things you don't know about Ornn. Now, if you want to know the basic things like combos, like items, like builds, like just very introductory stuff to Ornn, I'm going to put a link in the description, and that will be able to help you out. This is going to be a little bit more intermediate stuff. This is going to be a little bit more for the experienced Ornn players that are looking to be a little bit more inventive with their play, and they have the basics all set up. Now, my goal behind this video is to make you a better League of Legends player, as well as to give you a better understanding of the champion as a whole. I'm a little bit limited to this format, only doing 5 things, so please make sure to comment your rare tips that you have for Ornn down below. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Alright, and getting into tip number 1, we're going to be covering a very strong all-in combo that procs the R2 as quickly as possible. Now, this isn't the combo that you should be looking to do it every single time because it overextends you. This, however, is a great combo when there are Yasuos in the game because it's going to give you the maximum amount of enemies knocked up. Because whenever you are looking to ultimate and you are playing Ornn, a lot of the times your enemies are going to scatter. They're going to go left and right. You are not going to hit a lot of knockups on the enemies. You maybe just get a few. So, how we combat that with this combo, you want to be looking to do R1, flash E, and then R2 onto as many of targets as possible, and this is going to really delay the amount of time they have to react towards getting slowed and running away from your R2. Now, this is really effective when you are really far away from the targets and they're going to be hit with the slow, and you're doing it as quickly as possible. Flash E, R2, and you're hitting it. You kind of just catch the tail end of it, so sometimes you might miss it if you aren't very used to this combo. So go into the practice tool and try this out. And again, this is only used in very particular circumstances. And that will wrap up tip number 1. Alright, and getting into tip number 2, we are going to be covering a very effective trap that you can use on enemies. Now, this is very good when the enemy is a little bit lower health and you know that they are in lethal range of your full combo, and that is generally from 50 to 60% when you are playing Ornn. Maybe at level 6, you have an insane amount of damage. So you are going to want to feign building a item, and this is going to bait them into walking in a very predictable pattern, which is going to hit confirm your Q, which is going to start your combo. So how you execute this is you feign the build, you cancel it with your Q, R1, E, R2, auto, W, auto. And that is going to just be a very great way to cheese out some kills on an enemy, and a very strong way of baiting in maybe some of those people that are really looking to play back and not really take too many trades with you. This works very well against teamo players that look to constantly harass you, and they really hate that you can build in lane. So doing this kind of bait is going to be quite effective, and that will wrap up tip number 2 for Ornn. Alright, and down the vein of going over ways you can look to bait enemies into some very sticky situations. If you are getting constantly engaged on, but you think you can win if you hit a proper combo, you should always be looking to play around terrain. This is obviously so much better for Ornn because he can get a pretty much instant stun or instant knockup from his Syrian charge. I do not know why there are so many Ornns that just always rely on their Q wall to proc their E. So whenever you are looking to trade with the enemies, sticking near a wall is just going to be a very effective way. A lot of you are going to say, hey, Lilfit, I already know that the Ornn is always stronger against walls, but then I go into solo queue. Whenever I play against an Ornn, they're always in the middle of the lane looking for those hyper aggressive trades. So sticking very close to a wall, getting an instant E knockup and then Q into a W into a knockup can be a very effective combo. So pretend that you just get a bonus in damage as you do when you are around a wall. Always look to take those minor skirmishes around walls if you are in trouble and waiting for your jungler. Say it's the classic level 3 gank where both junglers are pathing topside. Delaying the trade in the all-in, particularly if you're losing, by going into the alcove is going to just be a very hyper effective way in playing it out, kiting out the enemies, getting the instant Q on targets, knocking them up, slowing them, and being able to buy time for your jungler to come. And that will wrap up tip number 3 for Ornn. Alright, and getting into tip number 4 with Ornn, we're going to be talking about his wonky hitbox when you are looking to R1 a couple of enemies and slow them, but then peel a target off with your R2. Now, this is going to be very unexpected because a lot of people expect you to throw your R1 down the same alley that you threw your R2, or maybe to the side, but catching maybe a diver with this quick R2 proc can be the difference between your carry getting killed or you successfully peeling them and them being able to carry the team fight because they are uncontested from the enemy divers. Now, as you can see here with the R2, the hitbox is very, very forgiving, as that should not have hit. I mean, I dashed so much more before the Forge God came, and I really should not have hit that R2. So it is very difficult to screw up. You have to absolutely just whip it like that to not get the R2 in this manner. So always effectively utilize this R2's forgiving hitbox on enemy divers to catch them off guard with a very, very quick proc on your R2. And that will wrap up this tip. All right, and getting into the final tip, we're going to be talking about how Ornn can be a very, very successful pick type of champion. Now, this is going to be very, very important because I see a lot of these lower elo Ornns, they are really, really not taking full advantage of his kit and his ability to get picks. Denying people's vision on the Baron and then getting a flank right here for the people that are going to check using control wards, using Oracle lenses is going to be a very, very effective way to set up a team fight and to carry some of those fights. Now, this is particularly important for people that are starting to lose the 5v5 team fights. You need to start creating chaos. You cannot keep trying to fight front to back and throw out your ultimate in a very, very expected manner like this. How you need to be starting to play out the team fights when you're losing front to back is by looking for very inventive angles where you can flank the enemy, flash, and then E, and then really get into just a disgusting situation where you are having your Bombing Cinder tick on a bunch of people. You're just really starting to damage and disrupt a lot of people. So, moral of the story is, when you are losing the front-to-back team fights, look to create chaos, look to create picks. You do not want to be a predictable tank that is looking to just fight front-to-back. Maybe they have a full build Vayne and your Jinx just didn't cut it and is 0-3. This is what you need to do to carry these games. That will be the final tip, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, take it easy.